The citadel is in chaos. The rebels are attacking, flares are going up, and Rebecca, badly burned, is barely hanging on. Vanessa finally reunites with Dylan, but her daughter is furious, brainwashed, and more dangerous than ever. When Vanessa attacks Rebecca, Dylan turns on her own mother, knocking her out cold. Meanwhile, Taka and Dimitri are still negotiating when Rebecca stumbles in, scorched. Taka seizes the moment, and shoots Dimitri, but gets his throat ripped out. Then Antonasia finishes Rebecca off. Mohammed survives but watches his sister die under the debris. Desperate, she begs him to turn her, but he refuses and smothers her instead. Flesh teams up with a new ally, Lucky, a sharpshooter with a vendetta. They set explosives, blowing up the Citadel's generator and crippling its defenses. Vanessa taps into her vampire instincts, using Mohammed's blood to track Dylan. But Dr. Shomalik gets to her first. He reveals the terrifying truth: Dylan isn't just a vampire, she's been genetically altered and can't be turned back. Dylan doesn't care. She bites Shomalik, and Vanessa guns him down before he can turn. The war for survival rages on, but Vanessa may have already lost the one person she was fighting for. The Citadel is a bloodbath. Dimitri and Anastasia celebrate while Vanessa, Mohammed, and Dylan fight to escape. Vanessa is furious, Mohammed betrayed her, and Dylan is now a vampire experiment gone wrong. At triage, Doc struggles with guilt over Axel. Things get worse when Callie, the girl they abandoned, suddenly reappears. Suspicious much? Dylan howls and brings Anastasia and her cohorts right to them. Mohammed decides to play the valiant hero, telling Vanessa to take Dylan and run while he holds them off. A mysterious ninja wipes out the attackers, including Anastasia. Later, Flesh and Lucky find Mohammed, but he refuses to be saved. Flesh won't leave him behind. Meanwhile, Doc follows Callie and finds her secret: she's keeping Axel as a pet. Now a vengeful Axel forces Doc into a deal: feed him blood and help find Vanessa, or he exposes her past. Jolene catches Doc stealing blood, leading to a tense standoff. Doc insists she's not a hero. Jolene tells her she could be. Doc picks up the blood, dares Jolene to shoot her, apologizes, and walks away. Vanessa and Dylan share a rare moment. Dylan can stand in the sunlight. But fear takes over, and Dylan slashes Vanessa's throat before running off, straight into Julius, who plans to take her to Rebecca. Except Rebecca's already dead. Doc and Axel's road trip is off to a bad start when a feral vampire destroys their blood supply, starving Axel. Vanessa tracks Dylan to Julius, leading to a brutal fight. But when Vanessa admits she burned Rebecca's face off, Dylan turns on her. Julius attacks and Vanessa makes a desperate move: she bites him, turning him human. His response? A surprising, "Thank you." Julius is back, human, apologetic, and ready to help Vanessa save Dylan. Flashbacks reveal his tragic past. It is shown that her mother was very ill. In order to pay her bills, he started throwing fights for money where he ran into Dimitri, got turned into a vampire, turned his mother into a vampire, and immediately watched her kill a nun. In the present, he warns Vanessa, young vampires like Dylan must feed constantly. He offers himself, but his blood is toxic to her. That leaves Vanessa with a brutal choice: kill for blood or find another way. At triage, Flesh and Lucky rush Mohammed in, but he's infected, and they have no antibiotics. Worse, Doc stole all the blood, and Flesh fears his own might be dangerous. Meanwhile, Doc and Vampire Axel are stuck on the worst road trip ever. She begs him to feed on her, but he refuses, making things even worse. Elsewhere, Sam, the deaf serial killer turned vampire, stumbles upon a juvenile prison. It's an all-you-can-eat buffet, but he spares one kid, Felix, grooming him as his new Mohammed. Desperate, Vanessa kidnaps a man for blood, but he panics, shoots Dylan, and ends up dead. Oh, and he had kids in the car. Julius takes them to safety while Vanessa wrestles with guilt. At triage, Flesh's secret gets out, and he's locked up. Lucky, regretting her actions, breaks him out. They grab Mohammed and flee. Vanessa chooses to cure Dylan instead of killing him for blood. The emotional moment seems successful, until Dylan steps into the sunlight and burns to ash in her mother's arms. Vanessa's grief shakes the world, and awakens something ancient. Vanessa is drowning in grief after losing Dylan, but instead of breaking down, she's chopping ferals to pieces with a tomahawk, because that's what Van Helsings do. Julius worries she'll meet a vampire she can't handle, but before they can argue, they run into a nightmare: the Skinners. These vamps skin people alive and wear their faces. Yeah, they're that bad. Luckily, they're saved by a group of kids called the Johnsons, think Peter Pan's Lost Boys, but with more weapons and post-apocalyptic trauma. Julius is all in on their survivalist camp, but Vanessa is skeptical, especially when she notices scars on one of the kids, Troy. To prove they're the good guys, the leaders, Mike and Chad, invite her to a trade meeting with Troy's old group. She agrees, though things are about to get way darker than she expects. Meanwhile, at a juvenile prison turned torture den, Sam is proving once again that he's the creepiest thing alive. He's massacred a bunch of kids and turned their fingers into a necklace, because, of course, he did. Felix, his new pet, is struggling to cope as Sam forces him to learn sign language and play twisted games. Felix tries to escape, even goes back to save his friends, but Sam catches him. Instead of killing him, Sam gives him a Mohammed-style haircut and, for extra nightmare fuel, cuts out his tongue so he can never protest his new identity. But karma's coming for Sam, because Vanessa and the Johnsons are about to meet with the very same group of teens he's been slaughtering. When they don't show up, Vanessa investigates and realizes the serial killer she left alive last season is back and bloodier than ever. Vanessa is determined to kill Sam, but he keeps slipping away. While she hunts him, the Johnsons free the prisoners, making plenty of noise. Sam taunts Vanessa in a gym before escaping again. Back at camp, they find Sam's bloody aftermath. Vanessa, unfazed, drinks Felix's blood to regain strength and sets out to finish him. Meanwhile, Mohammed, Flesh, and Lucky search for Vanessa, with Flesh having ominous dreams. He and Lucky finally share a moment, and a kiss, while Axel and Doc struggle to survive. Dimitri builds an army, ready for war. The showdown happens in a church, axes swing, fists fly, and Sam gains the upper hand. Julius arrives, guns blazing, but runs out of ammo. Cornered, Sam chooses to throw himself from the steeple. As Vanessa recovers, she, Julius, Doc, and Flesh share eerie visions of a place calling to them. Their next journey begins. Vanessa's past rushes back to confront her in an unexpected way. A secret Doc has been protecting his reveled. Scarlet, raised by doomsday preppers, is always ready for a fight, so when Axel ambushes her, she stabs first. She and Vanessa trade blows before exploring further. Their talk about Scarlet's past is cut short when they find a hospital nursery, eerily staged for something sinister. In a bid to bolster his power, Dimitri sends Scab on an impossible mission. Meanwhile, Dimitri has reached the lab, and it's time for a vampire on double Van Helsing showdown. Vanessa and Scarlet are trapped by Dimitri, who reveals they're twins with a mysterious destiny. A brutal fight breaks out, and Vanessa, supercharged by Scarlet's blood, wipes the floor with the vamps. Meanwhile, Julius and Doc steal Wanda, leaving Lucky, Flesh, and Mohammed stranded. Axel forces Vanessa to turn him back, only to drop dead. They bury him, but moments later, he claws his way out. Elsewhere, Dimitri's minion takes over a vampire witch coven, and Sam kidnaps Mohammed. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more amazing videos.